downloading the free iHeartRadio app. You can listen on your smart speaker. You can find us on podcasts, and you can watch us on social media. We prefer you go to YouTube, look for the Open Mic live stream, and there we are live and in color. You can also watch us on Twitter and Twitch as well. Welcome to Open Mic. I'm Mike Bianchi, the Bulldog sports columnist of the Orlando Sentinel. Right over there, that's Adam Reardon. He's the deceptive intellect. And, of course, Austin Pastolka, we call him the Sultan of Sound.
Woo! Yeah! That's right, baby. I am the Sultan of Sound. It is Friday, and I am excited because guess what? The Magic, big winners. Big winners. We got to play the Magic. You know what? I'll play it for you, Mike.
No.
Orlando Magic.
No.
Orlando Magic.
They traded Vooch. No, they don't get no music.
What? Why not?
You get no music for
This is
for
the new beginning, Mike.
You get no music for being the only team in the league that traded an all-star, for crying out loud.
Oh, it's so great. This is fantastic.
Not only were they the only team in the league to trade an all-star, they were the only team in the league that traded their only all-star in the last 10 years.
Yeah. Listen, we got Otto Porter Jr. for you, man.
Wendell Carter Jr.
Yeah.
Hey, and you got that trade exception, too. Ooh.
That's right.
Kravitz was very excited about the trade exception yesterday.
Ooh, let me tell you.
Yeah.
I'm so happy for this. I've been calling for this since after they hit the playoffs, after they didn't get better the next year. It's like, all right, cool. We've seen the max. Send them all away. Start it all over again. Let's go, baby.
Well, we're going to get into all of this. We want to know what you think. Our listeners, 407-916-8255. We don't want to know what Austin Pastolka thinks. He's just a Nebraska Cornhusker fan who has no loyalty to the Magic whatsoever. You can also tweet us in the game, and you can text about what you think of the Magic's fire sale, what you think of the Magic trading Nick Vucevic. Also, text in questions, 50857. We will have Jeff Weltman, Magic President of Basketball Operations, on at 8:15 a.m. this morning. He's the man who made the decision to trade Vooch and all of the other moves that the Magic made yesterday. He has not spoken yet, by the way. He did not have a Zoom press conference with reporters last night. It got too late. He's going to have a Zoom press conference at 9:15 a.m. this morning, which I believe Mark Daniels is going to air live on the Beat of Sports. But before that, we will have him on first and grill him about trading Vooch. That will be at 8:15 a.m. this morning. We like to begin every show, however, with our Open Mic early morning inspirational quote of the day from the great George Lorimer, who once said, and I quote, "You've got to get up every morning with determination if you're going to go to bed with satisfaction." Deceptive intellect. What do you think about that one?
Wait, you got to go to bed with determination if you're going to wake up with satisfaction. Is that what he said?
You have to get up every morning with determination if you're going to go to bed with satisfaction.
Oh, flip it around. Okay. All right. Yeah, you got to wake up every day determined to be successful, to achieve the goals that you set for yourself on that day. And if you wake up with that determination to not be denied, to not be beaten, to not lose the day, if you will, then you get to, at the end of the day, rest your head with that sense of satisfaction.
There you go. There you go. I wonder if Jeff Weltman rested his head last night with a sense of satisfaction, because as I wrote in my column, which you can read at OrlandoSentinel.com right now. There you go. Get ready, ladies and gentlemen. The Orlando Magic are getting ready for rebuild number 57, or is it 58? It doesn't matter, all right? The Magic had a fire sale yesterday, as we just talked about. It was the NBA trade deadline. They turned over their roster with a series of trades, including dealing their only all-star, Nikola Vucevic, along with fellow cornerstone veterans Aaron Gordon and Evan Fournier. Of the 5 Magic players who started Wednesday against the Phoenix Suns, 4 are now with new teams, all right? That's the turnover the Magic had. All right, so the separate deals yielded mostly young players, draft picks, and cap space. And again, I get the strategy. It doesn't mean I have to like it. The Magic have had one winning season in the last 9 years with Nick Vucevic on the roster, and that was 2 years ago when they made the playoffs with a 42-40 record, and they were a number 7 seed. So I get the strategy. All right, the Magic. Here's what I don't really like about the deal. All right, first of all, you traded your only All-Star, Nick Vucevic. And the draft picks you got, the Magic got 5 draft picks. All right. They got 2 draft picks, 2 second rounders in the Evan Fournier trade when they sent Evan Fournier to the Celtics. So they got 2 second round draft picks. Who knows about second round draft picks? I mean, those could be worthless. All right. In the Nick Vucevic trade with the Bulls. All right. So they send Nick Vucevic and the great Farouk Amino. All right. Did he ever play, by the way? Did the Chief ever even play for the Magic in his 2 years?
Oh, I wonder how many games he actually played. I think it's less than 15.
Like 25. I think it was 25 games maybe in 2 years. Al Farouk. Yeah. Al Farouk Amino. All right, so they send Vooch and Al Farouk Amino to the Bulls in exchange for Otto Porter Jr., who essentially you're just getting him for his expiring contract, Wendell Carter Jr., who could be a good young big, all right? And they got the 2 first-round draft picks. Here's the thing I don't like. They didn't get a lottery pick. They don't have any lottery picks of all the draft picks they got. All right? And the Bulls pick this year is probably not going to be a lottery pick, especially with the Bulls acquiring Vucevic. The Bulls are trying to make the playoffs this year. So of all the picks they got, no lottery picks. Am I supposed to be satisfied with that?
Well, but there's a little bit longer play than just, we didn't get a lottery pick. Because
there is?
Absolutely. Because with those 2 picks, depending on who's in the top 3, top 4, top 5, there's always somebody who doesn't need a top 3 pick in the top 3. You know what the Magic can do? They can trade those 2 lower picks for that top 3 pick. That is absolutely a strategy that they can use.
That happens in the NFL, all right? You don't see that happening in the NBA very much, where teams in the lottery are moving down for late to mid first round draft picks. Austin, you need to get your football mentality out of here, okay?
Mike, let me ask you this. How many lottery picks are on the Magic roster right this second? Not right this second, but who how many lottery picks do they have?
Aaron Gordon, or right now?
Yeah, right now.
Yeah. Right now, Mo Bamba is a lottery pick. Markelle Fultz is a lottery pick. Jonathan Isaac is a lottery pick.
Okay. All right. Damn, there may be a couple more, but
Otto Porter Jr.
Well, I can't remember if he was or not. Jeff Weltman and John Hammond, what is the draft pick that they're the most famous for?
Giannis at number 15.
Yeah. So think about the lottery picks that you have on this team right now, and then you think about what the leadership who is now with the Magic have done with draft picks that weren't lottery picks. And then ask yourself, are those non-lottery picks necessarily that non-valuable anymore? I mean, think about what the Magic have done with their lottery picks in the past. Chuma Okeke, was he a lottery pick or no? No, he was down. He was about 15. He was 15, 15 or 16. But my point being that this is a leadership group that has proven that without having the number. R.J. Hampton, wasn't R.J. Hampton? Isn't he? He's a lottery pick.
He was like number
2 or 3. Yeah. So my point being that, unless you've got the number 1 pick in the draft, unless you're the Magic when your one ping pong ball pops up and you get to have the number 1 pick again, or you get the number 1 pick the year Shaq is coming out of college, or there's a LeBron James out there. You know what? Having 6, 7, 8 versus 14, 15, 16, probably not that big a difference.
Well, again. When you're trading your only all-star, you want to get some lottery picks, and that's the biggest issue I have with the deal. Again, I get the strategy. I get that the Magic are a borderline playoff team, even when Vooch is on the roster and even when they are healthy, but this to ask Magic fans now to sit through another who knows how many years of irrelevance is a hard sell with Magic fans who've already been through rebuild after rebuild after rebuild. All right. So we'll get into all of this as the show progresses. We also have some reaction from some of the talking heads at ESPN and The Athletic and all of that. But we want to know what you think. Give us a call, 407-916-8255. Text us, 50857. Don't forget to text in questions for Jeff Weltman. All right, straight ahead, we're going to get into more of this. We'll get into the winners and losers. hate about the NBA business model. All right. Unless you're the Lakers, or unless you're, even the Brooklyn Nets, or one of these big market teams that stars want to aggregate, and unless you're one of those teams, the business model is ultra flawed, because the business model is, hey, you have to, not only do you have to tank, as we're seeing, you have to go all in on the tank, all right? And that's what the Magic did yesterday. They went all in on tank mode again, all right? Just like they did 9 years ago. But the business model is flawed because there's no proof whatsoever that tanking leads to championships. It's never an extended tank has never led to a championship. The closest thing we have right now is the Philadelphia 76ers. Of course, they've never won a championship, and they started tanking a decade ago. And there's no assurances that they're ever going to win a championship with that tank job.
I mean, they did pretty well for themselves.
Well, eventually,
yeah. But you're asking your fans to sit through 6, 7 years, 4 or 5 years even of interminable losing. All right, you're asking them to stick with you while you intentionally lose. I mean, what sort of business model is that?
But Mike, what would you rather them do? What would you rather them do? Because a star is not coming to Orlando.
They already had a all-star.
No, he said an all-star. He said an all-star.
I said an all-star.
Right? No, but I think what Austin was saying, a star.
Yeah, I'm talking about a superstar.
Here's what I would have done. All right, I would have traded Aaron Gordon and got the first-round draft pick or whatever you could get out of Aaron Gordon, all right? I would have traded Evan Fournier. I would have kept Vooch and run it back one more year with Isaac and Fultz healthy next year and see what would have happened, all right? And you could it's not like Vooch is getting worse. Vooch is getting better. Vooch is getting better every year. He's only 30 years old. Vooch would have the same value next year, all right, at the trade deadline. Again, it's not like they got a whole lot for Vooch. They got a couple of mid-level first-round draft picks and a young big who has been a disappointment in Chicago. So, again, they could have run it back next year with Vooch, Isaac, Fultz, see what happens, and then made a decision. I don't think they had to make this decision this year. I would have rather had Vooch back next year, maybe make the playoffs again. I know that doesn't excite you guys, but it excites me if you have a playoff team, and if Fultz and Isaac develop next year and they come back healthy, which, by the way, is what they're banking on anyway. They're banking on building around Fultz and Isaac and hoping they're healthy. So if that's your plan anyway, why not bring Vooch back and have an all-star to go with those guys? Just my thoughts.
Yeah, I just think that, like some marriages, eventually, part of the couple kind of looks at the situation and goes, is this the best it's going to get? And if so, I'm not really happy with that. And I think that that's what the front office of the Magic did. Said, listen, the best it can get here with what we have, even when healthy, is to scratch over 500, be the 8th seed in the East, and then get bounced quickly from the playoffs. And they said, listen, yeah, we've had some good times. Yes, I mean, it's not, an abusive relationship. I'm just not happy. And they wanted to say, I want to try something else. I want to try something different. And then they've cut the ties. They've basically, this is a divorce. This is a divorce from the previous team, and divorce is tough. I get it, Mike. You're a child of divorce right now.
Okay, but why not? At least before you go to divorce, all right. At least before you file for divorce, why can't you go to marriage counseling and try to work it out? Okay, why can't you? No, they didn't. They have this roster that they had they've never gone into the playoffs really completely healthy. This roster, this young core that we talk about with Isaac and Fultz, and then you add Vooch and Aaron Gordon and Fournier, they've never been completely healthy for a playoff run.
Well, you wouldn't have
Never.
had Fournier next year anyway. You said
no, I
run
know,
it back, so he. I mean, there's one guy
I'm
that
not
wasn't
talking
going to
about
be there.
I'm talking about run it back with Vooch, Isaac, Fultz, and then whatever you got from the Aaron Gordon deal. You're going to have a new draft pick. Cole Anthony will be back next year as well. Run it back with that and see what happens. And then if you stink, then trade Vooch at the trade deadline next year.
I think there. I think at least half of this relationship was saying to themselves, "I'm just prolonging the inevitable here. I know what I want to do, and I will give the front office of the Magic this credit. Yes, they did make the playoffs the last 2 years, and they weren't going to make it this year, so it makes their decision a little easier. But they say, listen, this is our team now. There are fans out there like Mike who are happy with making the playoffs. That's it. Fine. That's what they want to do. I think this front office says we want more. We want more than just the playoffs. And if we've got to wait 2 to 3 years to get to the point where the Milwaukee Bucks are, what we built in Milwaukee to be here in Orlando, small market team that can't draw free agents, can't do. We believe we can strike. Have lightning strike twice in the same place. Trap lightning in a bottle twice.
Okay.
But that's what they're banking on. Give them credit
Okay.
for at least doing that.
They're gonna be scouring Greece again over the next 3
Who is
years.
the GM that used to make fun of? Who's the guy in Orlando that
Rob
made all the
Hennigan.
Rob Hennigan.
Rob Hennigan.
You think these
This
guys don't know any more than Rob Hennigan?
Well, I will say this. The positive to this is officially the end of the Rob Hennigan era because Vooch, Fournier, and Aaron
Thank
Gordon,
goodness.
all Rob Hennigan guys. So that is the positive. Yes, the Rob Hennigan era is now officially over in Orlando. All right, straight ahead. Want to get your thoughts? Give us a call, 407-916-8255. We will read you Vooch's farewell message to Orlando Magic fans. All of that coming your way on Open Mic.
This is Markel Fultz of the Orlando Magic.
Austin, you are Mr. Internet. You're the internet guy. I want you to get. Somebody just texted in. Terrence Ross's Twitter was the best thing about the NBA trade deadline. Actually,
I'm way ahead of you on that, Mike. You can actually check out all of his viral tweets over on 969thegame.com, the open mic section right now.
There you have it. What? Give me a sampling.
So he just tweeted GIFs, and every time that a new trade came out, it was either a crying one, or like oh man, it is what it is. Then the best one though was, man, I'm the oldest one in the locker room now, and then a photo of Samuel L. Jackson.
All right, so I'm reading. By the way, we will have Jeff Weltman, Magic President of Basketball Operations, on at 8:15 a.m. this morning. That will be his first interview since the trade deadline yesterday. He did not have a Zoom call with reporters. So text in some questions if you want us to ask Jeff Weltman, 50857. You could text in those questions. All right, so I'm on Nick Vucevic's social media account now, and he wrote a farewell message to Magic fans and the Magic in Orlando last night. I'll just read it to you. Quote, "This was very hard for me to write. I'm not sure where to begin, but to the city that has taken me as a boy and turned me into a man, I want to say thank you. Orlando has a very special place in my heart and always will. I have met many great people here and have built very special relationships, and that's what I will miss the most. To all of my teammates and coaches that I've had during my time with the Magic, and that's a lot of them, believe me, thank you for helping me become the player that I am today. To the DeVos family and the entire Magic organization, thank you for taking care of me and my family and helping me achieve my dreams. To the Orlando Magic fans, thank you for always supporting me. You have shown me nothing but love, and I will always love you for that. The time has now come for a new chapter in my life. I'm looking forward to joining the Chicago Bulls and being a part of this great and special organization. Go Bulls, Nikola Vucevic." All right, here's the problem I have with you guys, all right? And obviously you guys are sports fans. You're entitled to your opinions, all right, about trading Vooch. But you guys have no emotional tie or connection to the city of Orlando. You're both recent Orlandoans, all right? Adam, you've been here, what, a couple of years?
Yeah, a few.
Couple years. Austin is, he's from Nebraska, and he doesn't really have any loyalty to Orlando, all right? But to many longtime Magic fans, all right, this is an emotional thing. This isn't just, hey, it makes sense to do a rebuild. This is emotional for Magic fans. They have seen over the years all-star after all-star after all-star, from Shaq to Penny to T-Mac to Dwight. They have seen every one of their all-stars force their way out of town and not want to be in Orlando. And Shaq left and called Orlando a dried-up little pond, all right? That's what they have had over the years. And now they have the one guy, the one all-star, and I realize Vooch isn't Shaq, all right? And I realize he's not T-Mac, and I realize he's not Dwight. But this is their one all-star who wanted to stay. Despite all of the losing, despite all of the rebuilds, despite all of the fired coaches and different GMs, this guy was actually loyal to Orlando. That's what you guys don't get. You don't get the historical perspective and the emotional perspective of Magic fans. This is a guy in Nick Vucevic, again, who was devoted to this franchise. He was loyal. He went through 9 years of mostly losing seasons. He never complained, never publicly complained, never criticized his teammates, never criticized the front office, never tried to get the coach fired. Actually wanted to be in Orlando. The one guy, the one all-star that wanted to be here, the Magic traded. That's what Magic fans are feeling today. And we have a poll. We have a thought-provoking daily poll about this. Austin, can you read the thought-provoking daily poll?
Do you agree or disagree with the Orlando Magic trading Nikola Vucevic?
And I'm going to say, this is going to be overwhelming disagree. Can we have some early results on this?
Yeah, early results is 58% say they disagree with the move.
Okay, so it's close then. It's
At
close.
the moment, yeah.
Yeah, it's close. All right, it's close. I thought most Magic fans would vehemently disagree with this, but anyway, that's what I think you guys are missing when you just sort of nonchalantly say, "Of course, this is what they should do."
Yeah.
So
Yeah, you're probably right. I mean, the fact that I don't have an emotional connection to the Orlando Magic, I'd look at it like I look at all the other sports teams and recognize, hey, there's other guys getting traded, maybe not all stars. And you know, we understand that this is a business, and the Orlando Magic made a business decision.
The other thing that's great about this is, you know, you talk about the history of all of these stars forcing their way out. Mm-hmm. This is finally one that Magic fans can kind of feel good about. This is our all-star. He's going out. He wanted to be here.
Sending him off to a better place.
I mean,
just be happy for Vooch. I mean, Vooch is in a better place right now.
Absolutely. And now, listen, the Magic are going to try and rebuild. I know it's not going to take another 7 years, but at the end of the day, we can say, hey, thanks for the memories. You were great. Let's move on now.
Thanks for the memories. What is this, a Bob Hope movie now?
Well, listen, man. I mean, you want me to? Do you want all of Orlando to just sit here and be sad today? No, the future is bright for the Orlando Magic because they're not being held down by the Rob Hennigan. Absolutely,
the future is bright.
Absolutely,
future. There's probably about a 5% chance that the future is bright. If you can name me a team, that rebuilt that tanked themselves into a championship, I'm ready. Go ahead.
Listen, it's not necessarily about tanking, but per se, it's about finding the right people, the young talent. Guess what? This front office has done.
Give me the team.
The Milwaukee Bucks.
They didn't tank.
The Golden State Warriors. They didn't tank. They just drafted well.
They not only did they draft well. But I look at where Vooch is today, and in Chicago they got Zach LaVine. Zach LaVine was a guy that at one point looked like he was going to be a bust. Here's the thing: if you trust this front office more than the previous front office, then in my opinion, you got to trust them.
Yep.
You've got to trust them a little bit. You got to let them make some moves. Look at you probably bashed the Rob Hennigan era when they traded guys away, and you ended up with Vooch. And now you're like, hey, look, we got Vooch. I think that this front office, with their track record, with their resume, deserves at least before we go, oh, this is crazy. Why would you do this? To say, all right, let's see where we're at in 3 years. If this team is terrible, if this team can't break 500 in 3 years, then yes, go ahead and say that was a stupid move.
Okay, and again, I realize they have a track record, all right, but they also have a track record. I mean, let's not forget. I mean, John Hammond, the GM, he's the guy who decided to draft Darko with the Pistons, all right, and look who they passed up on back in the day. All right, so all these guys.
How's that guy get another job? Hold on, wait a minute, wait, what?
All right. Straight ahead, we will continue the conversation about the NBA trade deadline. We'll go over the winners and the losers throughout the league. That's next on Open Mic.
Open Mic. We'll be back in a couple minutes.
I'm sorry.
Don't forget, 8:15 a.m. this morning, Jeff Weltman, Magic's president of basketball operations, will be on our show and speak for the first time since he orchestrated the massive fire sale of the Magic roster yesterday. You can text in questions for Jeff Weltman at 50857. We'll get to David. He's on line 3 in a moment, but let me read some of the texts on our text line. Real quick, love the Magic, but I'm done. Can't take it. Trading myself to the Heat. Somebody texted in. I think Adam tried to do that yesterday. Yeah, we are pissed. Somebody texts in. Ask Jeff Weltman, is he expecting us to watch or attend any games for the next 2 years? Breaking up a less than dynamic trio and bringing in hungry newbies will be the best in a change of scenery for everyone involved. I do wonder if Vooch is secretly happy he's actually going to.
I actually wondered this is as they were talking about trading Gordon and Fournier, if Vooch then said, "Listen, if you're trading these two guys and you're leaving me here, yeah, do me a favor, find me a spot where I can compete." And look, you end up on a team where he doesn't have to be the one; he gets to be the two, which is something I've always said. Then I think Vooch is in a way better place today than he was yesterday.
Maybe that's a question we should ask Jeff Weltman.
I'll text it to you.
Yeah, there you
Jeff want to be traded. Hey, NBA is the only sport I know where getting rid of anyone who is good is a supposed path to victory. Good point. It's a bad business model. Can we please just no, never mind.
Oh, I don't have the text line up, but that sounded spicy.
No, it wasn't spicy. It just doesn't make much sense, really.
Okay.
You know, it's how some people text in, and their syntax and grammar is all confusing. So, anyway. Yeah. All right, let's go to David, line 3. David.
Good morning, guys. I like your show. I like your co-host, but I'm mad with both of them because if I have to put in the position, if your football soccer team have a average guy that is taking the pen with you guys and produce all these points and show love, why just trashing us? You know, like putting in your shoes if your favorite team lose the best guy and for 9 years had the chance to leave and he's stuck with us and now you're going to trade it. It's just kicking in your, you know what, to the Magic fan. I'm not going to go to the game because promises, empty promises. I've been hearing that since we had the billboard for Grand Hill, and that never paid out. Since we have the billboard for Grand Hill and all these like runs, oh, let's go rebuild. I'm just tired about it. I cannot live with full promises. I just need more actions and good product. Thank you, guys.
There you have it.
Hold on, he wants more actions and good product. What the hell do you think this was?
Again, I just think people are like that. We made the playoff thing.
That guy's a Magic fan.
No,
that's what Magic fans are feeling, guys.
But he wants more action, but also keep everyone here. That can't happen.
No, he didn't say keep everyone here. He said keep your best player and a loyal player and a guy that the fans have fallen in love with. That's what he's saying. He's not saying keep everybody. He's not saying you can't go get new pieces to try to rebuild on the fly. Nobody says you have to do total rebuilds here. That's what the Magic are doing, but you don't have to totally rebuild. You don't have to tear it down to the ground to build it back up again. That's the accepted NBA way. And again, that's never proven to work, but that's what GMs and president of basketball operations like to do to put their stamp on teams. They like to tear it down to the ground so they'll have as many chances as they can to try to hit on a lottery pick that turns into the next Steph Curry. So anyway, what were you saying, Adam? I'm sorry.
No, I just think, he brought up the soccer reference, and I'm trying to think now. I mean, it's hard to use my favorite team, Manchester City, because their best player helps lead them to actual championships. So it would be a little bit different to trade him away or to sell him off. But I think about teams like Borussia Dortmund, who are normally second, third, fourth. I mean, they compete at least for a title, but they sell their players off all the time to bigger clubs and get money back in return so that they can then spend money on younger players that they hope to develop in the future. So it does happen in soccer, happens a lot. Now, maybe not at Liverpool or at Manchester City or Manchester United, because those teams are competing for and winning championships. I just think that Vooch, making the playoffs sort of skewed what in the mind of fans what this team actually was. This team was a 500 team at best. At best.
Yeah, it was. Again, and
if
that's
you had any
why
hopes of
I
getting
get the
above that,
strategy.
you had to trade him. I mean, that's just. I mean, it just is what it is. And I think that emotionally, you said, "Hey, we made the playoffs the last 2 years," and get really excited about it. But that was always the ceiling, was being a 7 or an 8. The ceiling for this Magic roster, whether healthy or not, was probably going to be a 7 seed, and that. I mean, if you're happy with that, then great. It just doesn't seem like the front office was happy with that, so they're willing to blow it up and try something different.
It's gonna be. I'll tell you what. If this again, I don't know how long this rebuild is gonna take. All right, but again, you got a bunch of draft picks, and you're banking on a couple of injured players coming off of ACLs next year. You're banking on that. If this rebuild, if the Magic stink for the next 2 years, 3 years, Jeff Weltman will not be the president of basketball operations anymore. Because, again, this cannot take 6 years. It cannot take 6 years. Well, if it does, he won't be here 6 years.
Well, I think
Alex Martins might not be here if this doesn't work. Wasn't it Alex Martins, by the way, who just told me a couple weeks ago?
Yeah.
If this roster had remained healthy, we would have been the Miami Heat of the bubble last year. Wasn't that Alex Martins? What happened? What happened in the last couple of weeks?
I don't know that he necessarily believed that, or maybe after hearing it, after saying it, he was like, "Oh, I really said that? I can't believe that. Hold on." Hey, one other thing that guy said, it was David on the line. He said that he doesn't want to go anymore. I will say this about the Magic and Magic fans, whether or not they are going to support this team. Haven't they always supported this team through thick and thin? So
they've had pretty good attendance through all of the misery of the last 9 years. Yeah,
and if there's a time to piss off your fan base to where they're saying we're not going, it's probably during a time where you're like, that's fine, you're not allowed to go anyway right now.
We only need 25% of you anyway.
That's it. Yeah. We got that loyal group that's going to show up regardless.
All right, go ahead. All right, go ahead, Austin.
So I've been doing a little bit of research because of constantly saying tanking doesn't work and all that sort of stuff, right? So the two franchises that I mentioned earlier, the Golden State Warriors and the Milwaukee Bucks, at one point were the basement teams, and then they just drafted well and had young talent that worked out, that people didn't think was going to work out. Steph Curry, people didn't think was going to work out. Markelle Fultz might be not necessarily the next Steph Curry, but maybe the step below Steph Curry. I'm just saying. No. Here's the thing.
You can't shoot.
No.
There
Here's
you go.
the thing.
Steph Curry,
I'm
can't
just
shoot.
saying that having young talent equals potential. Okay, that's all I'm saying.
You're selling hope. You're selling hope right now. That's what the Magic are going to sell. No question about it.
Oh, well, hey, maybe those 2 second-round draft picks they got for Evan Fournier, maybe one of them will turn into Draymond Green. He was a second rounder.
Absolutely.
Huh?
There is hope here. That's the complete difference.
This is the proverbial 1 in the hand versus 2 in the bush. This is we know what was in the hand, and now the Magic have said, let's see what's in that bush. Let's see what's in the bush.
Selling hope. As Emily Dickinson once said, hope is a thing with feathers that perches in the soul and sings the tune without the words and never stops at all.
I was just about to say that.
Let's pause. Let's pause now for station identification.
WYGM Orlando, WJRR HD2 Cocoa Beach. Listen live on iHeartRadio. Now. No, seriously, do it now.
What you reading there, honey?
It's very exciting stuff, you see. It's the front page of the internet.
Here we go with the front page of the internet this morning, starting off on YouTube's trending page, where top videos are all music videos. Number one is from Rod Wave. The official video for his song Tombstone has been out for 2 days now, has 6.5 million views. And also, I guess this one isn't a music video, but it's a teaser for the music video. BTS, the K-pop group that is worldwide one of the most popular K-pop groups of all time, they put out a 30-second teaser trailer for their song Film Out. It has 8.2 million views in 19 hours. So yeah, a little bit of a big deal for people on the internet.
That's so big. I don't get it.
Happy birthday today to lead singer of Aerosmith, Steven Tyler.
Steven Tyler, Love in the Elevator. I'm gonna go. Steven Tyler's gotta be, man. He's gotta be 70.
Steven Tyler, I think of Walk This Way. Him and Aerosmith.
Walk This Way.
Run DMC.
Walk This
Yeah.
Way.
Hell yeah.
Oh,
70.
yeah. Remember when Run DMC was the video with that?
It was great. No, it was like the first rock rap mashup. It was fantastic. 75.
He's 72 years old today. I gotta tell you, he looks good for 72. When it comes to rock stars, you know,
Sure, he's probably had some work done.
Yeah.
so he can afford it.
Yeah.
Over on Reddit, trending on the Today I Learned subreddit. Here's a pro tip for you if you're ever in the Philippines. Today I learned that people in the Philippines say "Tao Po" when knocking on someone's door. It translates to "I am a human being."
Yeah.
It comes from the belief that evil entities cannot do human speech, so you have to announce yourself saying, "Hi, I'm a human. I'm not here to eat your flesh.
Yeah.
I'm not a monster." Which that's pretty interesting. And there's also a new challenge going around on Twitter. It's the hashtag Don't Look Your Age challenge.
Oh.
It's people tweeting out photos of them dressing up to the nines, saying 52 is beautiful. Saying my age is just a number. I'm not going to look my age. I'm not going to let my age define me. So Mike, go out there, post a photo of yourself saying 68 is not.
He's not 68.
that number doesn't define me.
I crush that because there's a guy on Facebook that, because I at times I'll wear my hat backwards. He commented on our video one time. He's like, okay, whatever, Mr. Backwards Hat Wearer. What are you, 12?
Mr. Backward.
He's a backwards hat kinda guy.
Backwards hat indoors too. So I knew that he was a little bit older than me because it was the still. You wear a hat indoors, like.
Probably wear your pants down low too, don't you, Mr. Backward?
Yeah. You know who invented sagging, don't you? You know that story, huh? The prison system. You know why? You want to hear that story?
Is that true?
Well, that's what
they
people
say.
say. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is the front page of the internet today.
From our text line 50857, text in questions for Jeff Weltman, Magic President of Basketball Operations. We will ask him as many as we can get to when he is on our show at 8:15 a.m. this morning. Do not forget, in a few minutes, your chance to double your stimulus. All right, we do it every morning about 7:10, 7:11 a.m. We give you a chance at an extra $1,400. Double that stimulus right here on Open Mic. All right, from our text line, please no attempts to make a positive spin on the Magic. Think most of us that the franchise moved in it. Most of us wish the franchise would move anyway. No, we don't. No need for the athletics input or the political channel. What is this?
Where do we go?
You
We gotta
guys
proofread
are.
these things.
Yeah, I know. I should not start reading text without reading them. I feel sorry for you guys. Somebody texted in. You actually have to pay attention to this team and act like you care. Good on you, mate. Hey, we're good actors. We act like we actually care about. We do care about.
I don't know
the
what you're talking about. I wholeheartedly care. This is the only thing I've been thinking about for the past 27 hours.
Alex Martins needs to go. Somebody texted.
Oh my, of course.
First of all, Alex Martins, all he is like, he's like the de facto owner in town. You can't get rid of the owner, all right? Alex Martins is the DeVos representative in Orlando. If you want to say that the Voss family should sell the team, okay. All right. But you can't fire the owners. All right. You just can't do it. So, again, Alex Martins makes no decisions without ownership's approval or without ownership telling him what to do. And again, Alex Martins, I think, gets sort of a bad rap because he's the representative of ownership, and he's not making the decisions. All right? He turned over the decision making for basketball to Jeff Weltman, and the DeVos family makes the big decisions, not Alex Martins. Just my opinion. Anyway. All right, I want to get to this story really quick. Text us in 50857 if you want to comment on the Magic. You can also call us 407-916-8255. All right, here's what I was going to say about Vooch, all right? What if Vooch goes to Chicago? Remember Eric Spoelstra's comment a couple weeks ago?
Yeah.
He's a modern-day Dirk Nowitzki. Remember that? Or Nowitzki?
Yep.
Remember that?
Yep.
What if Vooch goes to Chicago? And absolutely, again, he was thriving statistically in Orlando. Absolutely starts thriving, all right? Zach LaVine has a number 2, so they start thriving. Chicago, big market, all right? Obviously, where Jordan won his championships. Chicago attracts another superstar, and the Bulls start winning or competing for championships, and Vooch truly does become a modern-day Dirk Nowitzki. Then what? Then what? Then what's Magic Management going to do?
Well, I mean,
Nothing. It's not their problem anymore.
Yeah, and I would.
Oh yeah, it is.
I would.
Oh yeah, it is.
Again, I think that the issue is that the Magic haven't gotten their Zach LaVine. Now, maybe their Zach LaVine was
Aaron Gordon was supposed to be their Zach LaVine.
Well, maybe Aaron Gordon will be somebody else's Zach LaVine, somebody who failed in the place that he was at originally, and then finally gets it together. And then Zach LaVine had injuries and whatnot, but maybe Markelle Fultz is that guy. The guy that you sort of recycle or recycle up, if you will. Or maybe it's one of these other guys they just scooped up in this trade. I mean, who knows? Unfortunately for them, again, this is the decision that they came to. I would be very interested, and I was sort of not joking when I said it, but it would be an interesting question to ask. I don't know if you get a 100% honest answer when you ask it, but I wonder if the idea of trading Evan and Aaron from this team, if Vooch said, "Listen, if you're gonna get rid of those guys, then listen, I've been here long enough. I want to compete for a title. Can you maybe look at options for me too?" I mean, I would be very interested to know behind closed doors if Vooch was shocked sitting on his couch yesterday when he got the word that he was being traded.
That's a good point. You know what I wonder? I wonder if they weeks ago decided to, hey, we're gonna blow it all up, or did something happen again? The Alex Martins quote of a couple of weeks ago, where he said, "Hey, we can bring this roster back, and if they're healthy with Vooch play." Remember, he even said, "With Vooch playing the way he is, we can rebuild very quickly." I wonder if something happened in the last couple of weeks where the Magic decided, you know what, let's just blow it all. Did they get some offer that they thought? Again, I don't think the offer from the Bulls was an offer you couldn't refuse, is it?
No, I think that though, if you knew that you were ready to make a move and Vooch wanted to move with everybody else go, that to me is what I kind of thought yesterday. I go, man, it really didn't make. I not that I was against the idea of moving Vooch, but it didn't sound a week ago like that was going to be the plan. And unless something has changed on the inside, I would be very interested to have been a fly on the wall in the Vooch household, 2 days, 3 days ago, if he made the phone call, said, "Listen, I know you're, Evan is gone and Aaron's going to be gone. I don't want to be here by myself. Send me somewhere else."
Yeah. By the way, Austin Pistolka, remember what I told you yesterday about all of these smoke screens before the trade deadline?
Yeah.
How about these smoke screen that we were talking about endlessly about the Celtics offering 2 first-rounders and Marcus Smart for Aaron Gordon? Yeah, okay. Okay.
Hindsight being 2020. Well, you'd have taken that deal, right?
Oh man, would I?
Yeah. Yeah. Instead, they got 1 first-rounder for Aaron Gordon and no Marcus Smart, by the way. All right, straight ahead, we're going to do a little sound off, but wait, we have a chance for you right this minute to double your stimulus.
Your chance to win
857 is the number you can text in questions for Jeff Weltman as he will join us at 8:15 a.m. and make his first public comments since the president of basketball operations traded Nick Vucevic, Evan Fournier, and Aaron Gordon. Text in those questions to 50857. Austin?
I've always been kind of amazed by there are certain teams in the NBA. Orlando would be one. Why they don't do a little bit better in free agents? Obviously, Florida, no state taxes. Everybody wants to go to Miami. Why does anybody want to go to Orlando? In fact, players leave. And Phoenix is a great place, too. But Orlando, it's like, once again, hitting the restart button and, hoping that they – because you know how it works, Al. You got to get – it's great to have draft picks, but you got to hit it in the draft. Sacramento, how long has it been since they were in the playoffs? They keep getting high picks. So it's not just getting picks. You have to get it right once in a while.
That's Frank Isola of the Athletic saying, listen, it's great to have picks, but you got to hit on them. Mike, do you trust in this front office to hit on all these draft picks?
No, I don't trust them to hit on all of them. If they can hit on one of them, or that's why they're trying to get so many. So at least you can hit on one, maybe two. You're not going to hit on all of your mid first round draft picks, bottom of the first round draft picks. And that's the problem that a lot of fans have with the deal for Vooch. They didn't get lottery picks. They got 2 latter half of the first round picks. And that's what you get for an all-star. As somebody just texted in, the Magic were 1 player away. Now they're 5 players away. So shake my head, the guy texts in. So again, yes, the Magic are in a total rebuild here, and there's no certainty at all that it's going to work. And we've certainly seen that with the last rebuild.
Sound off.
Yeah, I mean, this is a team now I think they can go toe-to-toe with anybody in the Western Conference because they already have 2 stars, legit stars, one an MVP candidate, Jokic. Michael Porter Jr. is that guy. He's starting to take that leap. 30 games from now, he might have arrived where he's doing it every single night as a 3rd star. And now you add Aaron Gordon to the mix, and also defensively, what he's going to mean going up against the LeBron James, Anthony Davis, Kawhi Leonard, Paul Georges of the world. Huge pickup for Denver.
Tim Legler of ESPN saying Aaron Gordon is the difference that the Nuggets needed to make them a true title contender. Adam Reardon, do you agree with that take?
Yeah, I mean, what's he? He's the number 3 on that team, right?
Yes.
And on Orlando, what they needed him or wanted him to be the 2.
They wanted him to be the 1.
Well, in Orlando,
at some point they wanted him to grow into the 1.
Absolutely, yeah. He was good. He was good. Early in his career, he was the guy that the fans were like, "Oh, this is going to be our superstar."
Yeah.
It's sort of like wide receivers in the NFL. I mean, there's guys that are 1s, guys that are 2s, guys that are 3s. You know what I mean? That's just the hierarchy. Yes, he can be a piece that you're not expecting. Nobody's asking him to score 22 a night in Denver, okay? But if he can score 15 a night, that's a good. That's what you need from him.
Guard the other team's best player.
Yeah, no, I absolutely agree that I think everybody who left here is in a better place today, and I think we just have to wait for the future to see if Orlando's in a better place without those guys.
By the way, Legs, why didn't Legs mention also the acquisition from Orlando of Gary Clark? Hello.
Oh, big motor guy.
They also got Gary Clark, which means every Gary in the NBA was traded yesterday. Did you know that?
Every Gary? Wow.
Yeah, every active Gary in the NBA. Is
there only one?
No, I think there were 3 or 4 active Garys. All right, the Nuggets also got Gary Harris, by the way. So yeah, they got Gary Harris and Gary Clark. They got 2 Garys yesterday.
They're in the Gary stocks right now. Let me tell you,
absolutely.
They're moving the team to Gary, Indiana.
Nice.
yeah. Adam, you need to buy some Gary stock today.
Yeah, I'm gonna look up GRRY.
Sound off.
All teams are different in a lot of ways, but somewhat similar. But it's nothing new that we faced. Yes, they length average 6'8". Their wingspan is pretty long, but you still got to play the game no matter what. You got to go out there and compete, and that's what we're looking forward to, the competition. And we'll be ready to roll on Sunday.
Juwan Howard, head coach of Michigan, talking about their matchup with Florida State coming up on Sunday. Mike, we're getting away from the Vooch talk and all that sort of stuff, but Florida State has a chance to move on to the Elite Eight, but they've got a tough battle with Michigan. Do you think they can handle it?
Well, you know I do.
I know you
know
do.
I do. I picked them to win the whole damn thing. Of course they can handle Michigan. I just wish they were playing Juwan Howard and Michigan in the Final Four, because we know how Juwan Howard and Michigan and the Fab Five used to perform in the Final Four. They would choke it away. All right. Too bad. By the way, too bad Chris Webber not coaching Michigan, or the FSU would certainly win the game.
Sound off.
Sometimes we play a better game when the school is a real challenge to us. I tell them never to play down to a team, and sometimes it's very easy to do that. The bracketologists watch the games endlessly, and they watch the plays, but they really don't know the team. I said, I know my team, so I think that's why I put such faith and trust in them and what they're capable of doing. I don't want to be a bracketologist either, so don't worry.
Good old Sister Jean of Loyola Chicago saying, hey, listen, my team was seeded too low. I'm not a bracketologist, but my team was seeded too low. With how Loyola Chicago is doing in this tournament, do you agree with Sister Jean?
Yeah, but then who are they playing? Oregon State? They're playing Oregon State coming up next, isn't that right?
I believe so.
So what does that say about Oregon State seeding? They're 12th. Let me tell you something, Sister Jean. There was a man who complained about having no shoes until he met the man with no feet. You're the 8th seed. Yeah, well, you're playing against the 12. How do you think they feel, okay?
Yeah, Oregon State versus Loyola Chicago. That game is the first game of the Sweet 16. Then we have Villanova, Baylor, Oral Roberts, Arkansas, Syracuse versus Houston. That is on Saturday. Those are the Saturday games.
By the way, Loyola Chicago favored by 7 points. So
Are they really?
Yeah. So forget about the bracketologists. It's about what Vegas thinks, Sister Jean.
Real quick, does the Oral Roberts Cinderella story end in the Sweet 16, guys? Do you think?
Hell, I thought it was going to end in the round of 32 when they played the Gators, and it probably should have ended had the Gators not melted down with the 11-point lead in the second half. But yeah, I mean, you would think, although, again, Oral Roberts has a couple of hot players right now. If you have a couple of hot players in the tournament, it's not like Arkansas, they're a 3 seed, but it's not like Arkansas is invincible by any means.
Sound off.
That's Sound Off for today.
All right, straight ahead. I want to ask you guys a question about Gator Nation and if they realize who Lon Kruger is. That's next on Open Mic. Open Mic, the best radio show in town. Isn't that right, Urban Meyer?
I think your facts are not surprisingly incorrect.
That's the DD I got to do right now. Is I got to go. Who's got like 5 or 6 really young kids that every weekend?
Steph Curry's got young kids, right? He'll come to Orlando.
No, he ain't coming to Orlando.
We need more free agents like Orlando. We need healthy ones. We need healthy free agents. All right. All right, straight ahead, we're going to continue to break down the NBA trade deadline. I want to get to this Lon Kruger story as well. That's next on Open Mic.
time to put the pedal to the floor. It's loud and live and local. Oh, time for open mic.
Welcome back to Open Mic. I'm Mike Bianchi, the Bulldog sports columnist of the Orlando Sentinel, joined as always by Adam Reardon. He's a smart guy. We call him the deceptive intellect because he watches lots of documentaries. Austin Pastolka, he of course is the Sultan of Sound. Together we are Open Mic, the troika of sports talk radio excellence in the megalopolis we know as Central Florida. Big news, obviously, in our megalopolis yesterday as the Orlando Magic blew up their roster at the NBA trade deadline. Orlando Magic president Jeff Weltman, the man who makes the decisions about blowing up the roster, he will join us at 8:15 a.m. this morning. It will be his first public comments since the Magic made a huge splash at the trade deadline. A splash. Some people would call it a splash. Some loyal Magic fans call it a belly flop. We want to know what you think about all of this. Give us a call, 407-916-8255. You can tweet us.
Oh, yeah, you can.
At 96.9 The Game. You can also vote on all of our polls at 96.9 The Game on Twitter. You can also text us. 50857. Text in questions for Jeff Weltman if you'd like. Text those in to 50857 as well. As I wrote in my column in today's Orlando Sentinel, which you can still read. Yeah, right. Yeah, thank you. You can read that at orlandosentinel.com. Get ready, ladies and gentlemen, for Orlando Magic rebuild number 57, I believe it is. Maybe it's 58. I lose count sometimes. It doesn't really matter. The Magic had a fire sale yesterday at the NBA trade deadline. They turned over their roster. They turned over their roster with a series of trades, including the very controversial, very emotional trade of the Magic's only All-Star, Nick Vucevic, along with fellow cornerstone veterans Aaron Gordon and Evan Fournier. Of the 5 Magic players who started in Wednesday's last game against the Phoenix Suns, 4 are now with new teams. The separate deals yesterday yielded mostly youthful players, 5 draft picks. I think the Magic got, they got, what they get, 2 first-rounders. Actually, they have 5 draft picks. They already had their first rounder for this year. They got 2 first-round draft picks for Vooch, and then they got another one for Aaron Gordon. So the Magic will have 5 draft picks coming up in the future, all right? They got a bunch of young players, and they have our favorite player, cap flexibility. They have a lot of cap flexibility now. And as I said earlier, we've been debating this all morning long. Adam Reardon and Austin Pastolka, they are the young guys. They are all for, hey, let's roll the dice. Let's do a total rebuild. What is happening right now isn't working, and they're right. They're right. What the Magic are, even with Vooch and even with a healthy roster, the Magic are a bottom level playoff team. They've had one winning season over the last 9 seasons that Vooch has been in the roster, and that was 2 years ago when they were 42-40 and scraped into the playoffs as a number 7 seed. So again, I get the strategy, and I understand what Adam Reardon and Austin Pastolka are saying. All I'm saying is that a lot of you guys out there, Adam and Austin included, you guys don't understand the historical and emotional perspective of Magic fans who have seen every All-Star they've ever had. Every All-Star they've ever had. In fact, Austin, Google the Orlando Magic's list of All-Stars, all right?
Okay.
Every All-Star they've ever had, or almost everyone, from Shaq to Penny to T-Mac to Dwight, and they all forced their way out of town. They all did not want to be in Orlando. In fact, when Shaq left, he called Orlando a dried up little pond, all right? Every one of those guys wanted out.
I've got
Here
'em.
was, all right, who do we have?
We got Shaq, Penny, Tracy McGrady, Grant Hill, Tracy McGrady again, Dwight Howard.
Grant Hill made the All-Star team with the Magic?
That's what it says. That's what it says according to RealGM.com.
Okay. Well, he didn't force his way out of town. The Magic fans just wanted him out of town. Okay. All right, go ahead.
Jameer Nelson.
Okay, Jameer Nelson didn't actually play in the All-Star game, but he did make the All-Star game one year, but he was injured and wasn't able to play in the All-Star game. So essentially every
And Rashard
Magic's-
Lewis is the other one.
Rashard Lewis. Yeah, Rashard Lewis. Okay, he actually came to town as a free agent, so he wanted to be here. But
Wasn't
anyway,
he the highest paid player in the league at one point?
yeah, when the Magic signed him, the Magic were actually, that was when the Magic were trying to make a run at the championship, and he was, at the time, he was the biggest free agent available. Stan Van Gundy was trying to surround Dwight Howard with shooters. Rashard Lewis was a 6'9" guy who could shoot the three, and yeah, he was the highest paid player. They signed him to a huge contract. Almost worked. It almost worked. They made it to the finals, and they wouldn't have made it to the finals without Rashard Lewis. So it almost worked, but it didn't quite work. And then, of course, Dwight Howard wanted to leave, and everything fell apart. But my point was going to be, that's the emotional tie-in that Magic fans have. All of their stars essentially wanted to leave, and you have this one guy, Vooch, this one guy who's been here 9 years. He becomes an all-star. He works himself into an all-star, two-time all-star. He never complained. He never wanted to go anywhere else. And then the Magic trading. That's what Magic fans are feeling today. I know you guys don't quite get it, but that's why Magic fans, at least a lot of Magic fans, are upset. Thoughts?
Well, I get why they're upset, but I'll ask you this question.
Okay.
If we find out, and maybe we'll ask coming up at 8:15, that Vooch maybe reached out and said, listen, if all these other guys are leaving, I want to leave as well, and he asked to leave, then at that point, your feelings on the trade change at that point, right?
Well, I'm still sad. I'm not.
But no, but there's a tinge of anger. There's a tinge of anger, especially amongst our text messages. There's an anger. I wonder if those fans that are angry today, if it's Vooch that said, "Hey, listen, if you're dealing these other guys, I want to go too," are they angry at Vooch for wanting to leave Orlando, or are they only angry at the organization if they want to move on from Vooch? Do they have that same energy if Vooch said, listen, if you're going to blow this up, then I want to go. I want to go elsewhere.
Did you say we have a call, Austin?
We do. We have Lewis on line 1.
Let's go to Lewis.
Hey, good morning. How you doing?
Good, Lewis. Bring some energy, Lewis.
Woo. Okay. Well, listening to that last question, I don't know. I feel like there's a difference between Vooch requesting than how Gordon requested. I don't know how to explain it. It's just the two of them. I guess he just kind of threw off with Gordon because Gordon got that huge contract. He got what he wanted, and then for him to just kind of, ask to be traded just like that is just kind of a little thrown off. And the thing is like I'm mad with the organization because it just feels like every year we do this. Like we always try to get draft picks, and then we get draft picks, and sometimes the draft picks don't live up to what we expect them to be. And free agency, we always have an issue. Nobody ever wants to come to Orlando, and if we bring somebody, it's only somebody that isn't really going to help us in the long run. I mean, when we brought in Bismack, we gave him a huge contract.
Oh my God, Bismack Biyombo. Yeah, hey, yeah, appreciate the call. Yeah. Oh, the Bismack Biyombo signing. But again, the Magic have had some good free agent signings in the past. But the caller is right. It's a crap, and that's why it's so frustrating the Magic fans, because you're blowing up the roster with no assurances that you're really going to get any better. You hope to, and again, a hope is a thing with feathers. What was the Emily Dickinson quote I read earlier? All of that.
Flutters with a song with no words.
Perches on the soul. Yeah. That's what hope is. The Magic are selling hope once again, and you can only sell hope for so long, and fans go, I'm not buying it anymore. All right, let's pause for station identification.
WYGM Orlando, WJRR HD2 Cocoa Beach. We are football. We are FM 96.9
Say it.
Game.
You feel that?
I can feel it.
We're about to blast off.
Just hook it to my veins!
It's time for the blast.
That's right, it is time for the blast here on Open Mic, brought to you by Frank Gay Services. If you need an electrician or a plumber, you need them right now, go to frankgayservices.com. They will hook you up. We got to buzz through these because we've got a conversation with President of Basketball Operations, Jeff Weltman, coming up at 8:15, even sooner. So right around the corner. Here we go, the Open Mic thought-provoking daily poll. Do you agree or disagree with the Orlando Magic trading Nikola Vucevic? Agree or disagree, Mike?
Again, I'm not going to rip the front office because I understand the strategy and I understand the Magic, even with Vooch and even with a healthy roster, was not a great team. They were a borderline playoff team. I understand the strategy, all right? But we've been told that this roster, when healthy, could be a really good roster. I would have run it back next year. I would have brought back Vooch next year, all right? Hopefully, Jonathan Isaac, Markelle Fultz, back healthy next year. Gotten what you could for Aaron Gordon and Fournier, and see what you could have done with that roster next year, all right, with Vooch on the roster. And then if it doesn't work, you can trade Vooch next year at the trade deadline, and he's going to have just as much value next season because Vooch is getting better. He's not getting worse.
I agree with the trade. It was time to move on, and they moved two pieces and went ahead and moved the third, the biggest piece, and they're going to rebuild, and hopefully they rebuild better.
With 58% of the vote, the fans disagree with the trade.
Okay.
Supplemental poll number 1, do you think Nikola Vucevic is secretly happy he has been traded by the Orlando Magic, yes or no?
I think Adam brought up a good point earlier. If he knew that Fournier and Gordon were going to be gone and the Magic were going to embark on a rebuild, he's probably secretly happy. I don't know if he actually requested a trade. I would think that he didn't. All right, but I would think that Nikola Vucevic, he's going to Chicago. It's a new start. It's a team with Billy Donovan as the head coach. They're trying to win. They're making all sorts of acquisitions to try to win. So the Bulls are trying to win right now, and the Magic are rebuilding. So secretly, yeah, I think he's probably happy.
Yeah, I think he's happy. I think that, if he's not happy now, then in about a week and a half when he gets some games underneath his belt and he feels what it feels like to win basketball games, he'll be happy then, for sure.
66% of the vote says yes, he is secretly happy. Supplemental poll number 2, with the Orlando Magic starting another rebuild, how long will it be until the team is back in the playoffs? 1 to 2 years, 3 to 4 years, 5 to 6 years, or 7+ years?
Well, if it's 7+ years, what was the third option?
5 to 6 years.
If it's 5 to 6 or 7+, Jeff Weltman and John Hammond will not be employed by the Orlando Magic. So I'm going to be the prince of positivity today. What was the second option?
3 to 4.
And the first option?
1 to 2.
1 to 2. I'm going to go 3 to 4 back in the playoffs.
I agree, 3 to 4. I think that the young guys get some experience. I think the biggest contributor, the MVP of this team, will be cap flexibility, and I think that not this year, but the next year when there is a really big crop of potential free agents, maybe Orlando can throw big money at a big-time player and surround him with good quality young talent, and we'll have ourselves a recipe for success.
Woo. 40.
Hope.
Go ahead.
Yep. Hope. He said hope.
Hope. Yeah.
Hope.
41% say 3 to 4 years, and then 26% say 5 to 6. 26% say 7+. Ooh. Not.
Hope.
not
Get
a
your
lot of
hope right
happy
here. I got hope for sale.
Hey, come on now.
2-for-1 special on hope.
Hope is a thing with feathers that perches in the soul and sings the tune without the words and never stops at all.
Supplemental poll number 3. What is the most valuable commodity the Orlando Magic obtained during their massive fire sale? Is it young talent, draft picks, or cap space?
Oh, come on now. We all know he's our favorite player. He comes and goes, but he always comes back to Orlando. In fact, Vooch loves it in Orlando. You know who else loves it in Orlando? Cap flexibility. He is back, and he is the most valuable piece to what the Magic acquired yesterday. Old Cap. Welcome back, Cap. Glad to have you.
The great thing about Cap flexibility is we know he's got a couple of years to develop. So we know he's got some time. He's on the roster right now, but we're not expecting much from him today. But we could experience quite the boom from old Cap flexibility here in the very near future.
With 62% of the vote, draft picks wins this one. Handily beating out cap space.
Cap not happy about that. Disloyal fans.
Cap flexibility wants to be traded now.
Supplemental poll number 4 with Oklahoma Sooners coach Lon Kruger retiring Thursday. Do you think most Gators fans realize it was Kruger, not Billy Donovan, who took UF to its first Final Four? Yes or no?
No, I don't. Again, that was 1994. By the way, I still have the sweatshirt and I still wear it from that 1994 Final Four in Charlotte. That sweatshirt is older. Is that older than you, Austin Pastolka?
It would be. I was born in October of 94.
Yeah, so that sweatshirt is older than Austin Pastolka. I don't think, again, most Gator fans aren't basketball fans to begin with. And no, all of the Johnny-come-lately Gator basketball fans, no, I don't think that they know that Lon Kruger once led this program to the Final Four.
God, I think sadly I agree. That is so sad because it was like such a cool run. Andrew DeClerc, Dimitri Hill, Demeet Hook.
The Demeet Hook. Remember that?
Oh, he played like Dixie Hollins High School. He like crushed my high school. And DeClerc played at Countryside High School. A couple of Pinellas County guys for UF.
Plus, you had Dan Cross, Craig Brown.
Dan Cross. That was a good team. And but you're right. I mean, they'd look at Lon Kruger and go, how's he related to Freddie Krueger? I don't know.
59% of the vote says no, they don't remember. And finally, the open mic Would You Rather poll. For the rest of your life, would you rather eat every meal mixed with carbonara sauce or drink every drink mixed with Four Loko?
Or Loco.
Four Loko, that's the energy drink, right?
It is the energy drink alcohol beverage. It's
it has alcohol?
Nobody drinks Four Loko for their energy purposes.
It's 14% alcohol with 4 servings in it every single time.
Again, I don't want to every time I drink, I don't want to get drunk. So I'm going to go, I guess I'll have to go with the carbonara sauce. If it was just like an energy drink without alcohol in it, I would vote for that.
You'd be the Dana Holgerson of the media world.
Yeah.
There's no way in the world I'd ever drink a Four Loko. So yeah, I'll give me the carbonara sauce.
Carbonara Life wins this one with 73% of the vote, and that is the blast for today.
All right, straight ahead, Jeff Weltman, Magic, President of Basketball Operations, will join us. Text in questions if you have any. 50857 Weltman next on Open Mic.
Just say the magic word.
What is the magic word?
I wish I could play professional basketball.
Then I'll just say the magic words.
We hope to be getting the magic word here shortly from Magic President of Basketball Operations, Jeff Weltman, who was the busiest man in the NBA yesterday. I don't think anybody would deny that. The Magic have remade their roster or remade their future. Let's go to the president right now, Jeff Weltman. Jeff, how are you this morning?
I'm doing great, Mike. How are you doing?
Good. We appreciate you joining us. We know you were a very, very, very busy man yesterday, as well as your staff. I'm just wondering, I guess the first question, give us the strategy of why you decided to trade your 3 veteran cornerstones. What's the strategy behind that?
Well, if I can, Mike, I'd like to first just wish those guys the very, very best of luck. Three good players, 3 good guys, and I know they're going to have a lot of success with their new teams. And look, every NBA player, especially when you get to a certain window in your career, deserves to be in a place where you can kind of achieve your goals. And so we wish them nothing but the best. For us, Mike, we didn't come into the season with this being the plan, right? We came in thinking we're a playoff team. We're going to be in the playoffs for the 3rd straight season. And I kind of quietly thought to myself, maybe even a home court team, if things break right, i.e. with injuries. And, began the season, 4-0, 6-2, whatever. And then obviously got smacked in the face with injuries like the likes of which the league has really never seen. And it makes you reevaluate. You have to look at your team and look at your path with a clear focus and not kid yourself. And injuries in our business change your world. They change the day-to-day functioning of the team. They change the outlook for the season, and they change the sentiment within the players. Of their paths and their timelines within, their own careers and how it matches up with the teams. And so, we have continuous dialogue with our guys and understand with our finger on the pulse of the team where we are. And we went into this trade deadline thinking, given everything that we've faced this year, we have to be able to pivot if those deals present themselves. So I can tell you that this was an exceptionally busy deadline for us, not because we were able to execute deals, because you're always working this hard and sometimes you get them done, sometimes you don't, but because we were almost working on deals that would pull us in 2 different directions. And when these deals lined up with everything that we were facing and knowing about the team, we felt that it was the appropriate time to make a move like this, strike out on a new path, and I'm really, really excited about the direction that we're headed right now.
Jeff, obviously a lot of fans are emotional about trading Vooch, your only all-star. He's been here 9 years. One of the few all-stars the Magic have had in their history who didn't try to force his way out of town and was loyal to the franchise. I'm just wondering, as the president of basketball operations, you have to take the emotion out of it, I would assume, right?
Yeah, absolutely, Mike. Well, you have to take the emotion out of it. You also have to have your finger on the pulse of the team, I think, and that is reading the emotion of the team. And, this isn't fantasy league. You don't just get to say, well, we've got these injuries, so we'll just run it back next year. These are very highly competitive, ambitious athletes that want to win within a very limited window. And so, the general shape of the team is greatly affected by these injuries and by the windows and the timelines. And so, you have to take the emotion out and do what's best for the team and figure out how are we going to win a title here in Orlando. And you also have to keep the emotion in and understand, where the players are. And so, I think that there was a little stagnancy, maybe some uncertainty that was fed by this wave of injuries that we've faced. And so we felt that all things being taken in together, now you step back, you do take the emotion out, and you say, what is best for the Orlando Magic? What's best for our fans? What's best for our future? And then we were, fortunate enough to be presented with some exciting deals to acquire some very exciting young players. And really, we have now at our disposal, and I know these are kind of buzzwords for a rebuild, but when you talk about the significant amount of cap flexibility that we have, having 5 first-round picks in the next 3 years, in addition to picking up 2 really, really talented young guys in RJ and Wendell, this is a very exciting path that we're on, and I think our fans are really going to embrace it once they get to know these guys and kind of we go down this road a little bit.
Jeff, how does it work? Do you tell the guys that they're being traded before Woj actually reports it on his Twitter account? and if that's the case, how did Vooch react? You said, is Vooch happy to be going? Again, you say you have to gauge what the players want. Did Vooch want to leave?
Well, I would never get into those private discussions, Mike. Obviously those are very personal discussions. But players understand their window. They understand what's going on with our team right now. They understand where we are, and so I would never get into that sort of stuff. But for sure, I think that anytime a player gets traded, you're shell shocked. It's you've been here for a long time, and it's something that you're used to, and you all those guys love Orlando, but they also understand the nature of the business. They understand the natures of their careers and their own timelines, and so they're pros, and so they're gonna go on to help their team significantly. I think all 3 of those guys are going to have much success with those teams. And obviously, we're on a different path now. So, they were all great. And, as I said earlier, we wish them nothing but the very, very best.
Jeff Weltman, president of basketball operations for the Orlando Magic. He's right here on Open Mic, and we appreciate it.
Hey, Jeff, it's producer Austin. So, Magic fans are tired of the rebuild, and you have the option now with draft picks and cap flexibility, all of those buzzwords. But what is the plan moving forward? Is it to just draft well? Is it just to get a guy in free agency? What's the plan now?
Well, I would say this, first of all, we didn't enter into this season, planning a rebuild. This kind of, I would say, happened to us. And I always tell you guys, in this business, you have to be the pivot, man. You have to be honest with yourself. You can't fall in love with a team and say, well, we're just going to, keep this thing together at all costs, because you have to be cognizant of where the team is and where the sentiment of the group is, and that has to be part of your kind of North Star in shaping your decisions. Look, we've been in the playoffs 2 years in a row. We would have been in the playoffs 3 years in a row, and possibly beyond. I would have expected. But this happened, and so we've struck out on a new path, and I understand that some of the fans are okay with another rebuild. Listen, it's our job to make this a successful rebuild. At one point, the Magic had to rebuild with Shaq and with Dwight, and they had really good teams. And let's be honest with ourselves, too. We were a little bit kind of jammed into a corner where we were wedged against the tax with no flexibility, no real picks beyond middle first-round picks, a team that's not getting younger, an inability to retain all of these guys contractually, and that team was not good enough to win a title. So with all these things taken together, the plan is, yes, to draft wisely, to use our cap space wisely. We'll have to see what that means as far as what opportunities present themselves. But I believe we have all the tools in our arsenal. And by the way, a host of really good young players on our roster right now, that this will be a successful rebuild and that the fans will be excited about it. And obviously we've got to go down that path, and you can't predict what deal's going to show up, or, are you going to take a contract to get a pick, or are you going to go sign a player with your free agent, with your cap room? We'll see. But to have all those arrows in your quiver is what it's all about. And that's team building, 2021.
Jeff, is there again? I know that it's fluid, all right. But is there a time frame, like when you want to be back in the playoffs?
Mike, I never put time frames on anything. You guys know that with injuries, with predictions, that sort of stuff. We're going to do it the right way, and assessing where we were with our histories, with the ages of our players, with contracts, everything else that we're surrounding. This is the right way. What we're doing now is the right thing to do for this organization, and so I don't know. I don't have an answer for you as far as in 3 years we'll be back in the playoffs. Obviously, some of this depends on bounces in the lottery, and some of this depends on deals that we're facing, and some of this depends on the internal development of our players. But I know that we're going to be organized. We're going to be disciplined with our approach. We finally, for the first time since I've been here, have some ammunition to work with, and we're not kind of working out of a tight corner every time we're on a trade call. And I'm really invigorated by this, and I can tell you that our staff and our organization is as well.
Jeff, I want you to explain to me the one player you got yesterday. His nickname is TPE. All right, traded player exception. Tell me about him. What is that?
Well, I don't want to bore you with that stuff. Basically, for teams that are over the cap, when you're under the cap, it's called cap room. Whatever your salary is below the cap is cap room, and you can use that room to sign players. If you're over the cap, you can only use a mid-level exception, in the ballpark of $10 million contract. But if you have a traded player exception, you can take a player into that trade. So by generating a $17 million traded player exception, we can now be over the cap and still take in a $17 million player that a team wants to trade without having to give money back. So it's a very powerful trade asset. Now, we may be able to get to a place where, depending on what we're looking at in the future, where we're operating above or below the cap, and that could be a very valuable, instrument, or it might not be. But, it's preserved for a year, and we'll see what comes along. It's why Boston was able to pick up Evan Fournier for 2 second-round picks, So we'll have to see what deals we want to make as we go forward, and what the timeline of our team is and what makes sense. But again, cap room, extra first-round picks are so hard to get. Somebody told me yesterday that I think 3 first-round picks were traded yesterday in the whole league, and they all came to the Orlando Magic. So, these are coveted assets. They're valuable. They'll help you get stuff done. When, who, I don't know, but it's going to help.
Real quick, Jeff, a couple of real players I want to ask you about. Wendell Carter Jr., R.J. Hampton. Can you just give us a brief synopsis on them?
Yeah, obviously, Mike, 2 really young guys. Wendell's not yet 22, and he's a growing young player. I think our fans are going to love him. I can tell you that the reports on both these guys, and we have intimate knowledge of both of them, and they're just spectacular human beings. I think our fans are really going to embrace them, and I think they're going to embrace the city. But Wendell is a growing young player, man. He's big, he's long, he runs well. He's got good hands and good skill set. He's a dookie, so he's come out the right way, and he's going to be a very good NBA player. RJ is a guy that we were extremely high on in the draft. We actually had a lot of decisions in our smallest group as we got down to the decision, and obviously we were very high on Cole, and that's why we drafted him. But RJ made it a tough decision for us, and we went down to Texas to work him out and visit him, and again, a ton of upside, speed, length, work ethic, love of the game. I think when fans get to see him a little bit, they're going to be really excited by what he can be. And at the infancy stages of his career, I think he's played 220 minutes. He's 20 years old, obviously came out from high school and played in New Zealand. So he's kind of an under-the-radar draft guy. But this is a top 5 player coming out of high school. And, he's got the pedigree to be a great player. And we're really excited. And I can tell you that Denver was very begrudging we talked to Denver for weeks, and they were very begrudgingly including him at the very end of the deal. They finally came around to including him, and that's when talks became serious. So very excited to have him.
Hey, Jeff, I'm sorry. One more question. I would be remiss if I didn't ask. A lot of coaches, they're not all that fired up about going through, even if it's a partial rebuild. How has Coach Clifford reacted to all the trades?
Well, you guys know Cliff. He's the best. It's not easy. Look, it's not easy for anyone. We've kind of all been here with the same group, and I think you guys know. I don't think there's a team in the league that values continuity more than we have. And the trick is you got to get to that team to establish that continuity. And for all the reasons that I listed before, we felt it was time to reestablish a team, to try to reestablish the continuity. And, look, Cliff is the best. You guys know. I always say Steve Clifford is the same guy every day. And that's what I love about him. And I guarantee you, like, he's doing the same thing today that he would have done any other day. He's watching the video of the next opponent. He's figuring out playing groups. Now, obviously, he's got to learn all these guys, and he's got to learn how they complement each other and suit each other. And it's important that we really take the rest of the season to get to know who these guys are. So he's got a little more work on his plate right now than typical day, but he's excited about these young guys, and he understands the path. And he wakes up every day, how can I win tonight, and how can I organize us? And I think when you're trying to look at young guys and trying to put these guys in a position to succeed, I know that he's very much of the mind that the only way you develop talent in the NBA is by putting them on the floor in a way that the team can stay organized. So that's his primary motivation right now, and I think he's excited about these guys, and our staff is excited to get their arms around them and get to know them. And one of them, wanted to get in the gym last night if he could get in on time. And so, these guys are workers. They love to play. They're going to be terrific teammates. They're going to be terrific citizens in our community. And I think Cliff is going to be excited to work with them.
Magic President of Basketball Operations, Jeff Weltman, the busiest man in the NBA probably over the last few weeks. Jeff, we appreciate you joining us. You can take a nap now, by the way.
If I have your permission, I'd be happy to do so.
Jeff, thank you so much.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate you.
All right, straight ahead, Mark Daniels will join us. We'll break down what Jeff Weltman just told us. That will be next on The Bridge.
Mark Daniels joins Mike Bianchi on The Bridge next.